My wife was furious when I kicked in the door and sought justice for what they did. To my son, what would you do if your son's trembling voice shattered your world with a single call? Imagine Michael, hunched over contracts, when Noah's desperate whisper cuts through. Mom's new friend says you're not my dad anymore. He locked me in the basement. Your blood runs cold. Betrayal or nightmare. The words alpha in this house echo as Michael speeds home, heart pounding, unsure if Lauren, his wife, is complicit or clueless. Was her new perfume, those late nights, a sign of something sinister? The house looms, garage door gaping, broken bottles strewn like a battlefield. Inside, a stranger laughs, mocking Noah's tears, while Lauren's absence screams louder than any confession. Is she a victim or the architect of this chaos? Michael's rage ignites, fists flying as he confronts a man who dared touch his son. But the real mystery unfolds. How deep does Lauren's deception run? Each shattered glass, each cruel word, pulls Michael into a war where love and loyalty are weapons. Will he save Noah and reclaim his life, or lose everything to a stranger's smirk? The storm is here, and it's only the beginning. While finishing contracts at the office, sipping my third cup of stale black coffee, my phone lit up. I almost ignored it, but it was my son, Noah. He wasn't the kid to call for no reason. Always calm, always quiet. Dad, his voice broke. I heard him choking back tears, breath jagged like he'd been sprinting. Someone's here, Mum's new friend. He says you're not my dad anymore. Says he's the alpha in this house. I froze. What the hell, Noah? Where's your mum? He grabbed my arm. Dad, hard. Threw me in the basement, locked the door. He's yelling, smashing stuff. Said, time to deal with that loser. He means you. I was up. He's laughing, Noah whispered. Keeps saying, there's nothing you can do. I couldn't breathe. My chest tightened like a vice. Hands shook as I hissed, call an ambulance now. That boyfriend won't bother you again. I grabbed my keys, stormed out without a word to my assistant, and sped from the lot. That 20-minute drive home was war. Eyes flicked between road and speedometer, 90, 100. Hands gripped the wheel so tight, my nails dug into my skin. How long? How long had this gone on? Lauren, my wife, had been working late, more than usual. That wasn't odd. But then came the perfume. Strong, new, not for me. Then the locked phone, the flipped screen, the hushed calls in the garage. But never, not once, did I think she'd bring someone into our home. Not our house, not with our son there, not someone who'd touch Noah. I turned onto our street, tires squealing, rage burning like fire in my veins. The garage door was open. Broken beer bottles trailed from the kitchen to the living room. Glass crunched under my boots. He was there, a tall, smug bastard with a buzz cut and tribal tattoos snaking up his neck like a plague. Shirtless, drunk, laughing into his phone. You'll never guess what I did to her loser husband's place, he slurred into the speaker. Kids crying like a bitch downstairs. I didn't speak, didn't ask for answers. I launched across the room like a missile. One punch hit his jaw, the second his gut. He doubled over, gasping, but I didn't stop. Couldn't. He locked my son in the damn basement. He crossed a line. We knocked over the end table, crashed through the TV stand. I slammed him against the wall. Fist raised again when Lauren's voice cut through. Michael, stop. She stood in the doorway with a duffel bag. Her heels clicked on the hardwood, walking in like from a yoga retreat, not a battlefield. Her eyes didn't go to Noah, didn't go to the broken furniture, just to him. Derek, baby, are you okay? Derek, that's what she called him. Not, what the hell are you doing to my husband? Not, why is my son locked in the fucking basement? Just Derek, baby. I stepped back, disbelief etching my face. You let this garbage touch our son in my house. She didn't flinch, didn't apologize, didn't lie. Well, she smiled. Cold, sharp, cruel. Maybe if you were more of a man, Michael, you'd still have a family. I stared. This wasn't the woman I married, not the girl I met under string lights in college, who wanted a simple life, a happy home, a boy like Noah. This was a stranger, and she wasn't just lying, she was reveling in it. Think you can storm back and play hero? She sneered. You left us alone too much, buried in work. You stopped being fun. I found someone who makes me feel again. You mean someone who gets drunk and locks a 12-year-old in? A basement, I snapped. Her lips curled smugly. At least he's not boring. The room spun. I walked past her, silent, found the basement key, unlocked the door. Noah rushed up the stairs, into my arms, shaking, face blotchy from tears. Dad, he whispered. He said you weren't coming. I looked at Derek, groaning on the floor, then at Lauren. Her arms were crossed. Eyes rolled like we were the problem, like she was the victim. But something in me cracked, and something else ignited. This wasn't just betrayal. This was war. Police arrived 20 minutes later. Not because I called. Noah did. Smart. Kid. Always was. Even in fear, he remembered what I taught him. Don't wait for the storm to pass. Act. 2 officers entered. One took statements. The other puzzled over beer stains on the ceiling and a flat-screen TV in 3 pieces. Lauren sat on the couch like waiting for a pedicure. Legs crossed, filing, her nails. Derek was on the floor, ice pack to his face, glaring at me like he was betrayed. When the officer asked what happened, Lauren was quick. Too quick. He broke in, she said, pointing at me with that perfect red fingernail. We're separated. Michael doesn't live here anymore. The words didn't punch. They sliced, cold, like a blade to the chest. Separated, I said, voice low. You sent me to my brother's for a weekend with your cousin 2 weeks ago. I've been on his couch, waiting to talk. She didn't blink, didn't care. Looks like I moved on. The cop glanced between us. Ma'am, your son made the call, not you. Is that correct? Lauren's jaw tightened. That boy's his. He's just stirring drama. My name's Noah, my son said quietly from the hallway. He locked me in the basement. I called because I was scared, and Mum didn't do anything. The second cop nodded. We need the boy's statement. Lauren laughed. Laughed. Oh, please, he's just being dramatic. He's 12. Watches too many action movies. Derek muttered something about loser genes and beta parenting. I didn't look at him. If I did, I'd finish his jaw. After 20 minutes of back and forth, no arrests, just labelled domestic conflict. Said it'd be reviewed. They left a warning, but something in me had shifted. This wasn't about saving a marriage. It was about saving my son. When they left, I grabbed a trash bag from the kitchen, started packing my things. Lauren leaned in the doorway, arms folded like a queen over her ruined empire. So that's it, she said. You're giving up. I turned slowly. You brought a man into our home. Let him touch our child and mock me like he owns this place. What did you expect? She rolled her eyes. I expected you to fight for me. I barked a laugh, bitter, raw. You locked our son in a basement. You fought for nothing. You just lied about working late, needing space, that cousin trip. It wasn't a cousin, was it? She gave that look. One I used to think was charm. Now I saw manipulation. It was Miami with Derek. And yes, I told them all about you. How dull you are. How predictable. Funny, I said, stuffing my things into the bag. You used to say that's what you loved. People change, she shrugged. Some grow. Others cling to office, jobs and boring lives. I walked past, stopped at the door, turned back. I hope he was worth it. She smiled. That same cold, cruel smile. He is. I opened the door. Noah stood there, backpack ready. Coming with me? I asked. He didn't hesitate, didn't look at her. Always. We walked into the night, broken, shaken, but together. In my gut, I knew this wasn't the end, just the start. Next morning, I woke on my brother Daniel's couch, staring at a chipped ceiling like it held answers. Noah was asleep in the guest room, curled under a blanket too thin for comfort. I tucked it tighter, walked to the kitchen where Daniel poured coffee, pretending he hadn't heard me in the bathroom at 3 a.m. "Rough night?" he asked, sliding a mug over. I didn't answer, just took the coffee, nodded. We both knew words couldn't cover it. Not yet. "Going back for your stuff?" he asked cautiously. "I don't want anything from that house," I muttered. "Not after what happened. Not after what she did." He hesitated. "Sure about that?" I looked up. "Why wouldn't I be?" Daniel rubbed his neck. "Because Lauren was at your place last night after you left." "What?" "Yeah." "Neighbor, Mrs. Carter, called. Said she saw her and that Derek guy tossing stuff out the windows. Luggage, papers, photos." My stomach sank. "She's erasing you," he added, piece by piece. I was up before he finished. Every mile back to that house was torture. I kept hearing Noah's voice. "He says you're not my dad anymore. That house was ours. I painted that damn deck myself, fixed the garage door with YouTube and busted knuckles. Built Noah's desk with my hands, and now she was throwing it away with him." When I pulled up, the damage was clear. My wedding tux was on the lawn, soaked from sprinklers. The framed photo of our honeymoon in Tahoe was shattered on the driveway. A box of Noah's baby clothes, onesies I fought to keep, spilled into the gutter. I got out, each step heavy with disbelief, rage coiling in my chest like wire. Lauren stood on the porch with a martini. It wasn't even noon. "You're not supposed to be here," she said, voice flat, like a rehearsed line. I ignored her, walked through the debris, into the house. Inside, worse. Derek lounged in my armchair, wearing my bathrobe. He looked up, grinned. "Yo, you again? Didn't learn your lesson?" I didn't answer, didn't look. Went to the desk, pulled the hidden drawer under the bottom shelf. It was there. My folder, birth certificates, bank info, contracts, photos, proof. I tucked it under my arm, turned. Lauren stood in the hallway, watching like I was a thief in her bag. "You can't take that," she said. "It's mine," I snapped. "Everything here's mine, and you know it." She stepped closer. "Michael, don't be dramatic." "Dramatic?" I laughed. "You locked our son in a basement and threw my life on the lawn. You brought a stranger into our home, let him claim my family like a trophy." "He is a trophy," she smirked. "Unlike you. He doesn't play victim when things get tough." I clenched my jaw, breathing hard. Derek snorted. "Yeah, dude. Man up." I turned, took 2 steps toward him. He flinched. "I swear," I said quietly, "if you ever near my son again, I won't call cops. I'll make sure you don't walk. Got it?" He nodded, pale. Lauren laughed. "This is you now? Big tough daddy?" I walked out, folder in hand, head high. She could keep the house. I had the truth. And, soon, she'd learn the cost of making a man a ghost in his home. I didn't go back to Daniel's. Drove Noah to a diner we loved before things turned dark. He didn't talk much, just poked his waffles like they'd vanish if he touched them. "You okay?" I asked, sipping coffee that tasted like burnt grief. He nodded, then shook his head. "I don't know." I didn't push. We sat in silence. I stared at the rain while Noah stirred syrup like it held secrets. When he spoke, his voice was too calm. "Why does she like him?" My heart broke. "I don't know, buddy. Some people get bored, forget what matters, think new is better. But he's a jerk." I smiled. "Yeah, he is." Noah looked up. "He said you were weak, that you ran when things got hard. But you didn't. You came." I put my hand over his. "I'll always come, no matter what. You hear?" He nodded. "I thought that was the hardest part. But the real pain was coming. Later, after Noah slept, I opened the folder from the house. Not because I wanted to. I had to. Needed answers to make sense of this hell. Inside were receipts, emails, hotel bookings. Lauren wasn't just cheating. She'd been planning for months. Flights to places she never mentioned. Receipts for gifts I never saw. Pricey ones. Watches, necklaces. Even a damn ATV under Derek's name. Photos. God, the photos. Her in lingerie. I didn't buy. Laughing in bars draped over him. In bed with him. Not explicit, but enough to make me want to smash a wall until my knuckles bled. But the worst. An unsent letter in her handwriting, tucked between divorce papers she hadn't filed. Michael will never leave unless he's broken. First, I have to make him believe it's his fault, that he lost everything himself. Then maybe he'll vanish. I read it 3 times, each word cut like glass in my throat. This wasn't betrayal. It was a plot. A takedown. She wanted me erased. My identity, dignity, fatherhood. I stared until the words blurred, until I couldn't tell where her voice ended and the fury in my head began. Then I called my lawyer. 2 days later, I filed for full custody of Noah. Emergency hearing. Photos, receipts, statements, that letter. I gave it all to my lawyer, Sarah. She read it, eyes wide, mouth tight. She doesn't know you have this? She asked. No. Good. Keep it that way. This isn't just custody. It's character assassination. We'll bury her with her own words. For the first time in weeks, I felt something real in my chest. Hope. Not naive. The kind that comes after fire, after collapse. The kind that knows what's at stake. I wasn't fighting for revenge. I was fighting for my son, myself, the life she tried to burn while smirking. Lauren thought she'd written the final chapter. She forgot one thing. I'm still holding the pen. 2 weeks later, we stood in a family courtroom that smelled of old wood, burnt coffee, and shattered vows. Lauren strutted in like it was a catwalk. Heels, tight navy dress, fake leather purse. She smiled at the judge like she was selling him something. Derek sat in the back, chewing gum like a teenager, in a suit too big. He winked when I turned. Sarah leaned in. He'll crash on the stand. Just wait. Noah sat beside me, stiff, in his only good shirt. He looked smaller, like he wanted to vanish into the chair. I squeezed his shoulder. You're doing great. Just tell the truth, that's all. When Lauren took the stand, she cried on cue. I was scared, she said. Michael was gone all the time. I had no support. Derek was there for me, made me feel alive again. The judge raised an eyebrow. And locking your son in the basement. That's how he helped. Lauren blinked, thrown. That was a misunderstanding. Noah exaggerates. He's that age, you know. Noah looked at me, face red, lip trembling. I whispered, be brave. He walked up slowly, when called. His feet barely sounded on the polished floor. The clerk swore him in, and questions began. Noah, tell us what happened the day you called your dad. His voice was low, clear. Derek grabbed my arm. It hurt. Shoved me downstairs. Locked. The door. Said my dad wasn't my dad anymore. Gasps rippled through. Even the bailiff looked stunned. And your mother? She saw it. Didn't stop him. She said I needed to respect new boundaries. Lauren stood. That's not true. The judge banged his gavel. Sit down, Mrs. Bennett. You'll get your chance. Sarah took over, smooth as ice. She pulled the letter. Recognize this handwriting, Mrs. Bennett. Lauren's face paled. No. Sarah handed a signed court document. Let's compare. Same loops, slant, pressure. Sure, this letter, where you admit to manipulating your husband into a breakdown, isn't yours. Lauren swallowed hard. This is harassment. No, Mrs. Bennett, the judge said. This is evidence. She cracked, yelling how I was boring, never made her feel beautiful, how Derek was a real man. She laughed when Sarah mentioned Noah's trauma, saying he'd forget in a year. The room went silent, a silence that pressed on everyone, even the walls. The judge looked at Lauren like she'd confessed to cruelty. He said little, didn't need to. By the hearing's end, full temporary custody went to me. Lauren stormed out, yelling at Derek in the hall, blaming him, while he stared like she was a stranger. I felt no joy, just relief, exhaustion. After, Noah and I got burgers, just us. We barely spoke, didn't need to. When the food came, I asked if he wanted to split a milkshake. He smiled, not forced, not sad, real. That night I watched him sleep, first time in a month without flinching in dreams. I realized something. The real win wasn't the court. It was knowing he felt safe, that he knew his father never left, that no matter how she tried to break me, I stood, not for revenge, for him. A week later, a text from an unknown number. Meet me. Just you. It's about Lauren. 8 p.m. Old East Side lot. No name, no threat, just that. Could have been a trap, a prank. But my gut said it wasn't. When your life's been flipped by someone who swore they loved you, your gut's all you trust. I told Daniel where I was going, just in case. At the old East Side lot, the sun dipped behind buildings. Empty, cracked pavement, faded lines, one flickering lamp. I killed the engine, waited. Then she appeared. Not Lauren, her sister, Emily. We hadn't spoken in months, not since Lauren cut off anyone who talked to me. Emily approached slowly, in a hoodie, arms folded, unsure. I don't have long, she said, eyes darting. If Lauren knows I'm here, she'll flip. She already lost everything, I said coldly. She nodded. Yeah, and she's about to lose more. Emily handed me a flash drive. What's this? Proof, she said. Videos, messages. She's been planning this with Derek since before she sent you away. Wanted to flip your assets, sell the house, take Noah. Start over with your money. My chest tightened. Why help me? She looked away, ashamed. I was in on it at first. She said you were cheating, abusive, that Noah wanted out. I believed her, helped her access your bank files. But then I saw how she let Derek treat Noah that night in the basement. I begged her to stop. She told me to butt out, said Noah needed to toughen up. I clenched my fists. She used everyone. Emily nodded. She's not done. She's trying for joint custody again. New lawyer, lying through her teeth. Says you brainwashed Noah, bribed the judge. I almost laughed. Of course. Emily leaned in. Don't trust her. Don't trust anything she says. She's unraveling, but that's when she's most dangerous. At home, I plugged in the drive. Worse than I thought. Recordings of Lauren on speaker with Derek. We'll get rid of him. He'll crumble. Then we sell, take what's ours, disappear. Noah's like him. Weak. Always crying. Maybe send him to that military school. If Michael fights, we tell everyone he's unstable. I've been seeding that for months. Every word twisted my stomach. I gave the files to Sarah next day. She nearly dropped her coffee. This is nuclear, she whispered. We're not just keeping custody. We're ensuring she never gets near your son again. That afternoon, I picked Noah up from school. We got ice, cream, sat in the car, watching rain hit the windshield in slow drops. Dad, he said, licking vanilla off his thumb. Did she ever love us? I paused. I think she loved a version of us, the one in her head that did what she wanted, smiled when needed, vanished when she got bored. He nodded slowly. I'm glad you're not that guy. I turned to him. Me too. That night, Lauren called. Blocked. Number. I almost ignored it, but answered. She wasn't angry. She sounded broken. You win, she whispered. I didn't speak. I hope you're happy, she added. I took a breath. I'm not happy. I'm healing. There's a difference. She didn't reply, just silence. Then the line died. In that silence, I realized something. For the first time in months, she wasn't pulling strings. A few days after, Lauren's broken whisper, Sarah called. "We got a court date," she said. "Permanent custody. Michael, with what we've got, she's done." I didn't cheer, didn't smile, just nodded. Winning against Lauren wasn't winning anymore. It was like breathing after drowning too long. We walked into court that Friday like soldiers in the last battle of a brutal war. Noah wore his lucky jacket, green with frayed cuffs, holding my hand down the hallway. He didn't ask questions, didn't need to. He knew we were nearing the end. Lauren arrived 20 minutes late, dragging her new lawyer. Some slick guy in flashy glasses, more like a car salesman than legal counsel. Derek wasn't there. Emily said they'd been fighting non-stop. He moved out, found someone younger, poetic. The judge barely let proceedings start before asking if Sarah had anything. She did. The flash drive, emails, hidden calls, recordings where Lauren said she wanted me broken. Noah an obstacle, planning to start over with the right man. It wasn't a dagger, it was a guillotine. Lauren tried crying again, clutching a tissue like it owed her money, looking at the judge with fake tears. This time, no one flinched, not even the clerk. When the judge ruled, his voice was stone. Full legal and physical custody to Michael. Bennett. Miss Bennett restricted to supervised visitation, pending psychological evaluation and investigation. Lauren's mouth dropped, like she couldn't believe it. Like this wasn't the story she wrote. When it ended, she followed me into the hall. "Michael," she hissed, mascara streaked. "You're ruining my life." I turned slowly, calm, clear, done. "No, Lauren, you did that. I stopped letting you ruin mine." She stepped back like I'd struck her. "Think he'll ever forgive you?" she snapped. "Think Noah will love you forever just because you saved him?" I didn't answer. Didn't need to. Noah walked up, looked her in the eye, said, "You don't scare me anymore." Then we walked away. Not rushed, not dramatic, just quiet, free. That night, Noah and I unpacked the last box at Daniel's. Not much, just photo albums, his gaming console, a scarf my mum knitted before she passed. We didn't talk much, but there was peace in the silence, like we could hear ourselves think. As we sat on the couch, Noah said, "Can we start fresh? Actually fresh? New place? Just us?" I nodded. "Yeah, we can." He smiled. Not big, but enough to light the space between us. I realized it wasn't about burning the past. It was choosing not to live in its ashes. Lauren would go on. She'd lie, into new circles, smile into new beds. But her world, where I was a pawn in her power game, was gone, destroyed by truth, love, something stronger than manipulation. Clarity. A month later, Noah and I moved into a small house on the west side. Not much. 2 bedrooms, creaky floors, a tiny yard with patchy grass, a fence leaning like it was tired, but it was ours. No lies in the walls, no ghosts in the closets, no perfume on pillows that didn't belong. I painted his room first, let him pick. Bright blue. Looked like a pool exploded, but he loved it, said it felt alive. That's all I needed. We built everything ourselves. Shelves, bed frames, a lopsided treehouse out back. He didn't mention Lauren. I didn't bring her up. There was an unspoken pact. We weren't pretending she didn't exist. We were done letting her take space. One night, grilling burgers in the yard, Noah asked, "Do people like Mum ever change?" I thought. "No," I said honestly. "They change masks, but the face underneath usually stays." He nodded, like he knew. "I'm glad you didn't." "Didn't what? Change? Give up? Break?" I looked at him, this boy who'd seen more than any kid should, who still smiled like the world wasn't burning. I felt something I hadn't in ages. Pride. Not in me. In him. Lauren tried to break us. Used every weapon. Lies, manipulation, gaslighting. Even physical intimidation. to tear us apart and paint us as the problem. In the end, she lost. Not a villain with a grand exit. Just gone. I heard rumors later. Emily kept me updated when she could. Lauren tried suing Derek, claimed he scammed her emotionally. He skipped town, left her with debt. She got fired after court documents hit a local HR scandal blog. Her reputation shattered. She sent Noah one letter, just one. He opened it, read quietly, handed it to me, said, "You can burn it." I did. We didn't discuss it again. Instead, we talked about his math project, his favorite streamer, a dog we might adopt. Life wasn't perfect, but it was ours, free of fear, free of her. I still carry scars, mental and otherwise. Still wake some nights expecting her voice in the hall or check my phone for manipulative texts. Trauma leaves fingerprints in odd places, but now I know how to wipe them clean. Now I know what boundaries are, what peace sounds like, what real love feels like. Not the kind whispered in the dark, shattered by daylight, but the kind that shows up, protects, endures. To anyone in that quiet hell of betrayal, lies, emotional, violence, hear this. You're not crazy, not weak, not alone. The moment you stop chasing who you thought they were, you start finding yourself. It's not easy, but damn, it's worth it. One day, you'll sit on a porch with your son, eating slightly charred burgers, and realize you didn't just survive the fire, you rebuilt after it. And that's where the real story begins. When the pillars of trust collapse, the human spirit faces its ultimate test. Michael's odyssey through Lauren's chilling betrayal, her complicity as Derek locked Noah in the basement, her calculated plot to erase Michael's existence, reveals a profound truth. Love can be a battlefield where loyalty is the only shield. From the ashes of a shattered home, Michael forged lessons etched in pain. Lauren's cruelty, her choice of chaos over family, teaches us that betrayal is not a reflection of your worth, but a mirror to the betrayer's void. To those caught in deception's grip, heed this. Trust your instincts when they whisper of danger, for they guard what the heart might excuse. Act swiftly. Protect what matters. Like Noah before lies tighten their hold. Surround yourself with allies like Sarah, who wield truth as a weapon, and shun those who thrive on manipulation. Above all, rebuild not to reclaim the past, but to redefine your future. Michael's triumph was not in court, but in restoring Noah's safety, in choosing clarity over vengeance. Let his scars inspire you. Betrayal may wound, but it cannot define you. Seek peace in honest bonds. Set boundaries like iron, and know that true strength lies in rising, not for revenge, but for the life you deserve. A life where love endures, untainted by deceit.